Good morning. Oh, no, it's just afternoon. So, good afternoon. It's Sunday. It is the Sunday before Christmas, and it is the 21st, and it is the winter solstice. I realized this morning as I was listening to, as I was looking at my Facebook feed, and, everybody was like, Happy Solstice, and I was like, haven't really been paying attention to that. Even though I was very aware that it was coming. But I think the 1212 portal was the one that really started off what was an awakening for me. And it feels like it's only just settling down. So this week, I think I've mentioned before that I do have some issues with my back, and I've been trying all sort of alternative treatments before going back to see the spine doctor, but things got like really bad this week, so of course I've got to wait, but I'm planning to see the spine doctor again. But having said that, I realized there's a lot of stuff was happening in my lower chakras, and I had several days where it literally felt like the mid part of my back to my upper back were literally on fire, which was probably inflammation. But I was like, it feels like it's traveling up, and it really did feel like this sort of whatever it was, a kundalini, but that's what it started on 1212, that portal opening, and it's literally the energy is just moving through me. So I've been very patient with it. I had to literally slow myself down and just go inward, and I think that's why I really wasn't paying attention to the solstice. I was more paying attention to the weather, because we've had, again, cold weather, some snow, and then it warmed up and we had like rain all Friday, which again, if you have arthritis, you know that when the barometer changes, that can change how you're feeling. So that was sort of why I wasn't really paying attention. But then I've also not been paying attention to the media, so that sort of makes sense. So I asked the Akashic Records, the general Akashic Records, like, what's going on this week that's building up. I can certainly feel it. I don't have a large family. There's just my two sons and myself, so I haven't got a lot of running around preparing, but you can feel that sort of building up, and anxious about getting everything right. So I was like, okay, what generally is going on for everybody? And it was stuck in fear, which is you're thinking of all the things that could go wrong, but what about all the things that could go right? Make a paradigm shift in your thinking and take inspired action anyway. So stuck in fear, we need to move out of that. I don't think the political climate, all the other stuff is helping. You can almost feel the fear. And I do in my rituals in the morning and evening, grounding in Mother Gaia, I can almost feel that sort of anticipation. So then I felt I needed to pull a couple more cards for clarity. So choice was the next one. You're being asked to make a choice that you've been struggling with. It's time to decide which path you're going to take. Listen to your intuition. Eliminate everyone else's input and feel your way into the choice that is right for you. The time is now. I'm a bit hesitant in this reading. It's very small print. And I'm like, okay, I'm going for my eye test after the holidays. And then the last one was reward and recognition. Congratulations, your hard work will soon pay off and take you in the direction of your dreams. Acknowledge your efforts and own your power. So after all of that, starting off this week of feeling sort of stuck in fear, it can be shifted, right? It's very simple. It can be shifted. I also pulled my dragon card this morning, these small ones that I pull every day, and I'm always amazed at like how many more there's 55 cards, and sometimes I pull the same one, so I find another one. But this is very appropriate because it's something I was going to talk about. Dragon's Watch. We are guardians. We see far and fly to the stars, and have been on the planet longer than any human can comprehend. We are watching over you, keeping you safe. You are protected. So my dragons have been I have some very active dragons, and I often share with you that my dragons are also very funny, and they do some funny things. But I've been trying to connect more with. I've had this particular collective of dragons, which are guardians and are elders, and the elders are the ones that have been working with me for me to remember, taking me down paths of remembrance, so that I can keep walking in that path of the elder wisdom, the storyteller. And then I have the scrum, I think I mentioned this last week. They were doing this piling on, and they were literally like all jumping onto the negative energy. So I thought that was sort of interesting, but they're pretty much all over the place right now, because they're getting bored and they want to do some work. So they've been doing the work, the SRT, or certainly in the Lost Soul Rescue, which is something that's done once a week, that Lara Starr does, and we get invited to. And they are more than happy. This is absolutely what they say that's what they're here for. They love doing it. They love, helping rescue all these lost souls that they can cross over, whether they're animals or whatever, but they can do all of that. So they're very excited about that. But I realized that I also have earth dragons and galactic dragons, and I've always known that I had the galactic dragons, and I've had a lot of connection with them. But as I've been doing a lot more sort of rooted work, for me it's obvious that these earth dragons would appear. So I've been doing a lot of talking with different dragons this week. Interesting information has come through. But I also, Friday morning, when I was doing my morning check-in meditation, a new guide stepped forward, which was a Lyran, or some people know them as Irma. And I'd never heard that term, Irma, but they're the Lyran race. They're from that constellation. But I have this, and what fascinated me about her was I've actually met her, or I've met somebody in her family before, because she's this beautiful pure white lioness with very sort of, if you think of the male lions with their big mane, she just has this pure white sort of flowing. She sits actually like my cat does, very sort of like this. But this time, out of her third eye was this beautiful, and it was almost like a hologram. It was a heart, so that and it was sort of pulsing. Oh, it's giving me goosebumps as she does it. And she's bringing in just this high frequency, peaceful, calming everything down. She's one of my guides, and she stepped forward so that I could start acknowledging her. I've also been acknowledging that I have a white feathered, very large female feathered dragon that sits on this left side of me, and her name is Peace. And on this side I have my rainbow obsidian black dragon, who's my guardian, and his name is Sealy, or Seagull. I posted the other day, he actually gave me his dragon name, but for me I call him Sealy, so he's my protector. And then they blend their energy to keep this peacefulness. And of course it comes, as I'm doing this, it comes down my chakras and keeps my chakras very balanced. And so they're telling me that that's what we need to do if we're fearful. We need to bring in the masculine and feminine energy and blend it so that it soothes our chakra system, soothes our spinal column. It actually calms the nervous system. You can also think of the yin and the yang. So I literally have a white dragon and a black dragon, and they do this blending of their energy, which is beautiful. And I can actually feel it sort of like, it's like a sigh, which is actually very beautiful. And it keeps me from like overreacting. I've been in several situations this week where in the past I would have reacted, and I've just felt that there's this just calmness. So even though we can walk in fear, I mean, we're walking in it every day, we can still be, so they're telling me we're the beacons, so we know that. Like they've shared before, they see us as, like we see the stars, they see us as beacons here. That's what they're saying today. We're beacons that are flashing. And as we walk in that peacefulness and grounded, that is absolutely where we need to be for right now as we move into the next 2 weeks. So we've got this upcoming week and the following week as we go into the new year. But of course, it's not the Chinese New Year. So the fire horse, which is the energy for 2026, will not come until February, but it's started. So we're sort of wrapping up the shedding of the snake, and we're moving into the fire horse. So that's how I've seen it, how I've been feeling it. I did a very interesting reading this week, which actually it surprised the person that I did it for, but it also surprised me on the accuracy. I didn't know them. I pulled several cards before I started speaking to them. I didn't even know I was going to do a reading. It was one of my clarity calls. But the message was so strong in the cards as I pulled them that I was very guided to then say, can I just sort of run this by you? Is this something? And it was like, whoa. So, those of us that do this work, we still need validation. I do, because I get excited about it. I'm like, oh man, how did? And then I used, a lot of other decks, and it was a fabulous clarity call. So if you ever feel guided to connect with me, there's always a reason, right? That's why I know that I have to be patient. I've literally been given patience because I sometimes want to hurry things up, but I've always been told that, that saying, or everything happens in perfect time, and it does, right? So, so that's sort of one little plug for my, and it's free. My clarity call is a 45-minute call, and I've had a lot of you have done it. Some of you, we've just had that one meeting. Others, we've gone on to do other things. Or I've done, some Dragon Empowerment Reiki with you, another reading. And I am offering, like I said before, I've opened, now that I can connect. So what I'm realizing is what I do, even though I use Oracle cards to guide me, my guides are connecting with your guides and giving me that information. So if that interests you, I'm actually doing that on special offer through the end of January, and that's $75. I know it's that time of year. So, and truly I've been doing a lot of work every morning and every night. I work with my asking that it stays open, that I'm able to speak my truth, speak my power, and I certainly have been able to. It just sort of, whenever I come on and do this, because this is, putting me in another dimension, it's spreading my word out. So, as I've said before, I just keep doing it. I know it's frustrating when people sound like they need to clear their throat all the time. So that's those cards. What else was I going to say? Oh, yes. So if you ever notice what I'm wearing around my neck, which I know when I watch podcasts, I'm like interested in things. So I think I mentioned last week and if I didn't, I'm going to say it again, that I've been helping my son to try and raise his vibration, and also raise the vibration in his room and in the house. So every day this week, when I start my day, I have found different. So what I found in my house, I think I told you I've got these little temple bells. I call them ting ting. I could tell that I was really pissing off some of the negative energy because they were like, ah. So I have found, when I did that, I just got a whole whiff of smoke. So because, as much we can do, what I'm learning is that every day we can't always see it. And sometimes I'm not sure I want to see all of it, but we're walking through a lot of things that maybe want to try and attach to us. So that's what we do. But if we're in our bubble and we're high vibe, which is, I talk about this all the time, we need to keep raising our vibration. They can't touch us. But so in my house, I realized that, I could feel some of the stagnant energy. So I've been putting on Tibetan singing bowls. And a couple of weeks ago, every time I put it on and walked away, something shut it off. So I know I have some mischievous little elementals running around, and I'm like, okay, you don't like that, who's turning it off? So I tried some other stuff, and I've gradually raised the vibration, do a lot of smudging. I just bought a couple of new smudge sticks. So anybody open the windows and all the smoke goes out, they probably think I'm doing something fun. So there I've done all of that around the house, and now I'm raising the vibration. At night, my son has, I think he may have missed one night, but before he goes to sleep, he is putting on some high vibe music, sometimes singing bowls, wind chimes, whatever, and it's changed the whole vibration in his room. He has struggled with, he's had, so lots of stuff has gone on for him. He's had a couple of clearings still but I noticed these last 3 weeks things have been a lot better with his mental health, and one of the things that I was guided to encourage him to do was to use a cross. Now, we're a non-religious family, but a cross is more than just that. It is my feeling. It's not about a religious symbol. Well, it is a religious symbol, but it's also a protection. And so I bought him actually a cross to wear, and not a traditional, not a metal cross, and something for his wall. First of all, he said, absolutely no. And I'm like, think of it as protection, just so we gradually. And 2 days after I put it in his room, he said, Mum, put it over my bed. So he now has a cross over his bed, and he has another hanging cross. He's not going to wear it, but it's hanging there. And I felt very drawn to I also have some rainbow obsidian that I wear, which is protection. And so I actually bought this the other day. It's like a pottery cross, but it's also protection. I have so many stones and so many I've bought from other people that have done the Tree of Life thing. So I've got lots of things that I can wear, but right now this is what I'm using for protection. I think I mentioned as well that I've connected with Saint Dymphany, who is the patron saint of mental illness, and there's a small dragon also called Daphne who has been working with me, and they have told me that any religious object, whether it's a picture or whatever, placed in the room of the loved one, it will bring in the positivity. So, people that are depressed, anything from depression to schizophrenia, it gets harder with the schizophrenia and the schizoaffective disorder because of often some of their thinking, because it's a thought disorder, it's a distorted thought disorder. So, they could have voices telling them not to have those objects there. But that's as far as I've got this week, which I really feel that it's helped. it's working. It's sort of a bit like reminding him to clean his teeth, or reminding him, it's like, did you put your music on tonight? Have you grounded yourself? So his latest one is he can now see tree trunks coming out of his feet. So he says they're not just roots, they're tree trunks. So that again, with his daily practice, put your roots down, put your roots down. And at night, put your roots down, ground yourself in earth. And he said the other day he felt he wanted to put himself in an incubator so that he could see out, but they couldn't see in and they couldn't get to him. So any visuals are, I mean, we often say, oh, put yourself in a bubble. But do you really see it? I do. I make myself see myself in a bubble, my kids in a bubble, my car in a bubble. I put a big dome over my house, over and under. So I live in a condo, so I can only protect what's mine. So I see it as almost like a saucer shape going over and under my property, because there are lots of ways of getting in. And, you might need to so that's exactly what I do every day and night. And I remember that we have to ask for protection. It's no good assuming. We have to ask to be protected. Protect me, protect my loved ones, protect my animals, protect my plants, excuse me. Sorry about that. So, I think that, again, I'm talking about something that, because I'm raising my vibration. So so there's the card that they were telling me needed to come out. Defensive. So we need our defense. So actually this is about, it's interesting, defense came out, because it's not what we're thinking is what I'm being told. It's defenses against germs. So influenza, I spoke to my brother last weekend, and influenza is like epidemic in the United Kingdom. We're also seeing it's on an uptick here, and I heard from several people that even if you're vaccinated, it's a completely different strain. So I'm vaccinated against flu. So it says defensive, unconscious resistance to facing unresolved issues. Explore them with curiosity. But they're saying to me it's protecting yourself against the invisible. And that could be, whether it's just any of the entities that could be around. So it's the invisible defenses we need to. So they're just saying again, remember, if all you can do is ground yourself and put yourself in a bubble of protection every day, that's better than doing nothing. All right, so that's that. So let's see, let's pull some dragon cards to see. So I may pull from my deck as well, because they're the ancient intergalactic guardians. So I also listened to my thinking about my oracle deck. They told me not to reorder anymore. So I do have about 7 decks left. They were like, that was 2 years ago. We're moving on. They're in a hurry to move on. But I do have some decks left if you're interested in my oracle deck. So the first one, Aquamarine Dragon from Neptune. Enables you to access your deepest soul wisdom. The Golden Crested Dragon brings you higher love so that you can embody the Christ light. And let's just do one more. Oh, because it's the Fire Dragon. Actually, there's 2 of them. The Fire Dragon and the Lilac Fire Dragon. So the Fire Dragon burns up lower energies around you. So that's always good, bringing in the Fire Dragon at the end of the year. These last 2 weeks, I always see them as burning. And remember, you may see fire, but it's actually energy they're shifting. That would never burn you, not from my dragons. They always say that it may look like it's fire, it may look like it's hot, but it would never burn you. They would never do that. they are there to literally clear that negative energy. So it's like an energy wave they shoot out. And the lilac fire dragon transmutes through the power of divine love. Open up to transient love and enlightenment. Purity of heart brings peace, hope, and joy. So that's a beautiful message for this Christmas week. So let me go to my day. This is for the week of, starting today, the 21st of December. And this is my oracle deck. If you've not heard me say this before, they're multicoloured. Right, can you see them all different colours. They were very specific about, they wanted very bright and apparently blingy. My friend Tammy Cantrell, who was the artist on these, if you've ever seen any of my deck, she said she always saw me as very bling bling. So, oh look, here's Grandfather Dragon. So that was Grandfather Dragon who has stepped forward. So that's bringing in that divine masculine energy that I talked about. And he said, yep, that's why he's here. He goes, you talk about it all the time. Well, every morning I'm blending my energy. So yeah, the dragons wanted specific colours. They wanted the gold around the edges. And a lot of bling, apparently. It's funny when you hear people tell you something that you never thought about yourself. Oh, so here we are, the daughter dragon. The love from a daughter. So special love from daughter. That's also, so that's balancing out, that's the divine feminine and daughter rather than, which is interesting. It is often, so there's a lot of us that do not have our mothers or our parents around for many years. Oh, here's another one. Ancient priestess dragon, helping you harness your mystical powers. It's nice. It's green as well, so it's the earth energy. Let's do one more. Of course, Merlin couldn't be left out. Wizardry. See Merlin there. So Merlin, yeah, he's just saying, he just popped in to say hello. That he's got his, he often shows me the old, or what I think the old-fashioned black wand with the white on the end. My brother used to have like a magic set, right? We used to play with that. But yes, he's got this very long, and he's going, everything needs a touch of magic. So he's touching everything for this week with magic. It's like it's magic dust, and that's what's in that card as well. He also is a shapeshifter, the Merlin that I work with, and he actually likes to become Merlin the dragon, and he will shapeshift into that so he can go off and fly around. And he said that's why he's all over the world. The interesting thing he's been doing with me, because one of the mediums that works with Lara, also he is one of her guides, or one of her main guides. So I was like, oh, that's interesting, because Merlin's one of my guides. And then he said to me, yes, but I work with you differently. Well, here goes my finger again, so watch the energy. He says, I'm like, he was my so we work together because he connects me to other realms, to other entities, he's my connector. I'm also his connector in the human realm. He's saying I'm his connector. But what he's been doing with me, he's been giving me his vision. And this has happened to me before with the fairies. And he said, I will show you what I'm doing during these. Cat is known to do really extensive work with the earth and the layers of the earth. And the first couple of times before I talked to Merlin, I was wondering what I was seeing, because this is all new to me. But I was seeing a lot of was almost like a big portal. Um, so I was seeing a lot of sway. But when I realised how right it was, she was talking about rainbows were going into this big hole, all the layers, and I actually saw they were almost like clouds that were little rainbows, like little puffy things. And I was like, oh yes, he's showing me. So again, I'm very fortunate that I'm not getting in there, but he's showing me through his eyes what work he's doing. Um, so I'm very grateful for that. So they're the dragons. So let's see what the goddesses have to say. I'm not sure about these ones. So let's see. We probably need a couple of goddesses to help us anchor into this week. So we've got Purification Conventina. It's time for a cleansing detox of your body and mind. Oh, interesting. So that was something that I was also going to mention. So I was thinking about just that, cleansing and detoxification in the new year. And I think I've explained before that I am dairy and gluten free. I am not vegan, but I, mainly for medical reasons, I stopped dairy because I have a family history of heart disease and heart conditions, and lost multiple family members, including my father, to coronary artery disease. So I was always worried about that. I had a little scare a few years ago, and the cardiologist said that my heart was actually in good condition for my age. But he said I go after these sort of episodes, which was really like angina. I was having trouble like walking upstairs, walking uphill. I was getting out of breath really quickly. And they viewed it as like an angina, but they thought all my coronary arteries were blocked because it came on very suddenly. But in fact, that wasn't what it is. But he said, I attack this with diet and exercise. And I'm like, great, that's what I want. After a couple of years, my cholesterol wasn't that high, but it was higher than he wanted it. It was over 200. He wanted it under 200. Some of you, I mean, my doctor said to me, if I even had a cholesterol level at 200, I'd be happy. Mine's always been low. But anyway, he wanted that low. So his nurse practitioner said to me, you know, a lot of people find the easiest way to overcome that is just go dairy free. And I was like, oh, well, I'm already gluten free. And she said, and I was sort of semi dairy free. There was certain, I mean, I hadn't eaten regular cheese for a long time. But there's so much stuff that has got dairy in it. So I made the decision to go totally dairy free. So I was thinking, how do I am somebody who cannot like do drastic dieting. I mean, like, don't ask me to go on a liquid diet or just, I mean, I've heard some people talking about fasting for, you know, a week. No, I need to put something in my belly. So I then came across, say several years ago, or actually years ago, I did Whole30, which is really a sort of a 30 days of restricting, really eating clean for 30 days is probably how I describe it. They've recently, I don't know if it was this year, but they've recently gone to a plant-based Whole30. So that is what I'm going to do starting January 5th. I need a reset. I need a reset on my eating. I need a reset energetically. I just need a reset. And this feels like what I need to do. So I've been literally, I've got to clear out my pantry and put in all new stuff. I mean, we eat pretty clean as it is, but, you know, you get a little bit sloppy, especially this time of year. You just want some food. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So stay tuned to that. But that is for me. So then I've got Guinevere, true love, the romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver a great love to you. So there's something going to happen next year. I said it first here. So if I land up in a romantic relationship, somebody did, actually April DeMille did a reading for next year, and she said, I keep this like going to be a relationship in here. So I'm like, hey, I'm open to it, right? So I'm going to stay open to that. But I keep getting things like this, right? And then Dana, the high priestess, you have divine knowledge that can help others through your spiritual teachings. So these are all for, if this speaks to you, it's for you. If it doesn't, I always say, take what resonates and leave the rest. So shall I just do a couple of cards from here as I've got them out? And then I'll do a recap. Let's do two from here. Opportunity and chance and change for next year. And surrender. So yeah, that I think might be one of my words for next year, surrender. This year I think I mentioned this, I realized I put divine guidance, faith and growth. Interesting, I put faith, right? But I really wanted to strengthen that faith in, I know there's a higher power. And I know, and I see it as, and I've said this before, to me it is this beautiful white divine energy power. They have said that they're known as the One, and that is in other alternative religions, I believe. And I think it was the Book of Enoch. I talked about it a few times ago, but I clearly heard that I'm known as the One. So that's the one source, the source energy, and that can be known as anything. And I won't go on the religious thing, but so I have the 1 and the 7 is the 7 archangels. So that's what it is for me. So let's do a quick recap. So we talked at the beginning was about being stuck in fear, and that's we've got choices and there is rewards and recognition. So that was sort of the theme for this week moving into Christmas. Defense was about what we can't see, but make sure our defenses are up, not only spiritual hygiene but personal hygiene. You know, when we've been out and we come in washing our hands. If you remember in COVID, we were all, you know, it was like literally I was wiping door handles when people would come in and out. If you went to the store, you know, some people were wearing gloves, masks. It's that sort of thing. It's make sure that you put up as much defense as you can, and the rest is going to take place. We had the aquamarine dragon from Neptune, enabling us to access our deepest soul wisdom. The golden crested dragon, bringing us a higher love. The fire dragon, burning off all that negative energy. And the lilac fire dragon, transmuting everything and bringing the power of divine love, which is just what I've talked about. Grandfather dragon brought in the male energy. Daughter dragon brought in the female energy. And then we've got the ancient priestess dragon helping us harness our mystical power. And then Merlin came in to just sprinkle all that magic over this upcoming week, because for so many kids, this is a magical week, right? They've got all week to get excited about Santa. My brother, when I was talking to my brother last week, I was reminiscing about a time when there were many times, but I remember this one time we were still sleeping in the same room because we had bunk beds, so we had to be under 10. But we were waiting for Santa, and because we didn't fall asleep, we eventually fell asleep. And when we woke up, my brother had a wigwam, which we just managed to put up in the room because it was a tiny room. And we sat in there for hours, and he had a light that had flashing different colours. I think we wore out the batteries. And then our parents came in at like 7 o'clock. I'm like, how long have you been up? And we're like, after Santa got here. So it's sort of that magical time. I mean, I can still remember lying in bed, clearly saying, oh, I can hear Santa. Can you hear him coming? Oh, he's on the roof. He's on the roof. Quick, pretend you're asleep, pretend you're asleep. So, it's a magical time. We've got the goddess of purification to purify everything, Guinevere to bring in true love, and Dana, the high priestess, to bring in divine knowledge and spiritual teaching. And then opportunity and change is for the upcoming year. There's going to be a lot of new opportunities for a lot of us. Most of us, there's always going to be opportunity there. You just need to find it. And change. I think next year is going to be changing things up, moving forward, and surrender. Because to do all of that, we need to completely surrender to the end of this year before we go into next year. So that is all I have for today. I hope you have a good rest of Sunday. I will be back next week. I'll probably be back. I'll be back after Christmas. So I hope everybody has a good day or two. In England, the day after Christmas is Boxing Day. I've learned this year that in Australia they also celebrate Boxing Day, and that I was told that it's actually busier than Christmas Day. Christmas is for the I think just for the small family, and then Boxing Day is when like everybody shows up. So wherever you are in the world, have a happy holiday, and I'll be back next week.